In this wasteland, I am the one who runs from both the living and the dead. A man reduced to a single instinct. Survive.
Hi, my name is Amayo. I'm here with... You guys want to introduce yourself?
Davis.
Nick.
Janae.
And this is Everyone's a Critic. We're going to be talking about Mad Max. So what did you guys think of the movie?
I guess I'll start. Just real quickly, for the folks who haven't seen it, Mad Max Fury Road is about, obviously, Mad Max and his journey in the wastelands of the apocalypse. It's the fourth movie in the series, and it's about him surviving. So let's take a look.
It is by my hand you arise from the ashes of this world.
We are not thieves. We are not thieves.
Where is she taking them?
So if I'm giving my opinion about the movie, I'll be honest, I've seen the three before it, liked them all, and I saw this one in the movie in the theaters, in the actual theaters 3 times, and I now own it on DVD the minute it came out.
Liked it that much?
Yeah, I think that speaks for itself.
I'll have to say, for someone who has never seen the other 3 prior to this movie, I was able to actually understand the concept of the whole narrative of the movie. So I think it was really good. I love the action. I think George Miller did a fantastic job directing. Yeah, it was a really good movie for what it was. I don't know if they're going to make a sequel or not, or what's going to happen, but I'd be excited to watch the next, if they have a next, so, yeah.
I'm someone who hasn't seen any of the other parts as well, but right from the get-go, I kind of got the vibe that that's kind of the point of Mad Max. You don't really need a whole lot of context. It's really just, here's what's happening, watch it. Don't really need to know anything else.
You'd be spot on with that.
Yeah.
Right.
I haven't seen any of the other ones either. Liked it. Thought Charlize Theron was great.
Yes.
Thought the colors were great.
Fabulous.
I love the little minion people. Who are they, Davis?
Oh, you're talking about the Half-Lives?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved
the
those
Half-Lives
little
are
things.
cute.
I was like, I love them.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I like Mad Max's franchise so much. If I wasn't a broke college student, I'd come dressed up as the Duke Warrior.
Wow.
That's how much I love
That
it.
would be
For those who don't know, that's the guitar guy. For those who don't know who that is.
Yeah, he was
Coolest
really
part of the
cool,
movie.
yeah.
coolest one.
Best character in the movie, definitely.
Right?
I mean, I think we should start, of course, talking about the characters.
Yeah.
I think, like you guys like Furiosa the most. I think a lot of us would agree, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Is that the one that Charlize Theron was playing?
Yeah.
Yes, but I like the 5 women that were in the back. I forget their names, but I don't know. Something about them was just kind of like, because they were all individuals, they still were like a whole thing. Like, they were just like, I don't know. To me, that's just kind of how I sort of viewed the whole thing. Like, I was more drawn to them for some reason. But yeah, I did love Charlize Theron's character.
I'll be honest, Nick, she wasn't my favorite character. She was my second favorite, and there's only one reason why. Because I think she gave the best performance, but when you look outside of it, Immortan Joe had to be my favorite because the villain.
Oh, okay.
Because, fun fact, the man who plays him also played Toe Cutter in the original movie, who's the villain in that one too. So it's like to see him come back was just kind of this like geeky moment of, oh my God, he's the villain of the Mad Max movie again. Look how different he looks, and he still had it. He still had that grungy look. Get him. We have to get him. Ruthless killer. And he runs over his wife, and you actually see him like bring her back, kind of thing. Like he actually had like a little level to it.
You know, we talked about Tom Hardy's character in The Revenant as like pure evil, but I mean, that guy seemed pretty pure evil. Literally like cutting open. Oh.
Yeah, it was horrible.
So much of what he did was just so hard to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was very graphic.
Yeah, graphics definitely one way to put
Yes.
it. I would agree.
And really just like his whole look added to that. I felt like he just, He was disgusting.
Yeah, it was just weird to look at. Like,
Yeah. If we're talking about disgusting and ugly, can we talk about his oldest son, the little like gremlin thing in the pod, sitting here like this, like that's his son. That's his son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the whole idea is like nuclear war fallout, and like Immortan Joe has impure DNA, and so like that's his first son. Yeah.
Oh.
Like that's why what did you guys think of the scene where what did you guys think of the scene where like his second son holds up what would be his third son and says, I had a brother and he was perfect.
Oh,
and like
yeah.
it was his first perfect child, and that's why it's even more crushing. Because he actually finally had his DNA fixed again.
Yeah, and see, there's the context we didn't.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, right. It was
Use a
like
little bit of
something missing there.
Yeah. Okay, so we gotta talk about, was this your guys' favorite movie of the summer first off? Because it came out in no? What was your favorite movie of the summer?
Mad Max was a good movie. I'll have to give it that. But I'm trying to think what I saw over the summer besides.
Would have been
that.
Straight Outta Compton?
I would say, yeah. Straight Outta Compton was good. It had action, it had narrative, it had everything it needed. And plus, I was able to just understand the story from start to beginning. Whereas with Mad Max, it was kind of like, maybe I did need a little bit of background information, yet I was still able to understand from beginning to end. But I think Straight Outta Compton was for like people who were first time seeing it, whereas Mad Max was like, you had to get some sort of something before you saw that movie.
Because I knew you talked about how much you liked it, so I was like, oh, maybe she likes that one more. What about you guys? Was that your... You don't remember the summer, do you, Janae?
I kind of remember the summer. He said Ex Machina came out in the summer, and if that's true,
kind of, yeah, technically,
that's my favorite movie of 2015. So not Mad Max.
I can see it matching. I almost said matting up, like because Mad Max. Sorry, matching up with Mad Max. I could see that.
Matching up, no.
It
Clearly
better-
defined first and third.
Never even see it. So.
Personally, for me, my favorite movie of the summer, though, was Age of Ultron. But I'm a huge Marvel nerd.
I
at
actually
heart.
did see that movie. It was a good movie.
Such a bad movie.
No, it's not.
Yeah, no.
I won't. We won't. This isn't Age. We're not talking about Age of Ultron, so I won't get into
I think
that.
I just opened up a can
But
of
I
worms.
will be honest. I think
upset with me, too.
another thing people have to appreciate from this movie, coming into it, this movie I think really survived off word of mouth, which we haven't seen
That is very true.
in a while.
Yeah.
Like, the previews of that movie had me so worried. Oh my God, are they rebooting this? Is that what they're doing? Like they didn't advertise that George Miller was a big part of it to me. Like they didn't advertise it that big. They made it look like it was this reboot. We're gonna make this grungy and awesome. People are gonna love it, but they're trying too hard, you know. And then you saw it and you said, it's just one huge action scene, and it's incredible.
Really?
Like,
yeah.
And you had to watch it because the first time you go and you had the low expectations. So then you're just blown away. You're like, well, maybe it's my low expectations. So you go and watch it again, and you're like, okay, it wasn't my low expectations. Like I had to reaffirm for myself that it wasn't just that.
Yeah.
You know, I think one of the things that really held back the advertising for this movie is like one of the biggest, strongest parts of this movie is the editing and the way it was edited. And George Miller said a lot about his wife edited the movie.
Wow.
And the reason he chose to do that is because if he said, I think the quote was something like, if a guy had edited it, it would look like any other action movie. And it really doesn't. It really is a completely different vibe. It really is a constant pace.
Yeah.
And I guess whoever, is editing the trailers and stuff just probably didn't have that magic that George Miller's life could create.
I suppose you're probably right
I
about
didn't
it.
even know that. I think that is really interesting. Maybe that did have that sort of different feel for an action movie because personally, I don't usually like action films, but for that, what it was like, like anyone would enjoy this. Like it was such a good movie. So
Yeah, I'll be honest. One thing that I really enjoy about this movie is I think it's going to bring in this new wave, and it's not the only movie to do it this summer, but this new wave of practical effects. Mission Impossible 5 did it too, with the airplane scene and Tom Cruise, but almost that entire movie is practical effects.
We even saw that with Star Wars this year, a lot of practical effects.
Yeah, I say Star Wars did it too. Yeah, you're right. And I was starting to come back. It's like, screw CGI. Like, in the CGI parts, I have to ask you guys, the wheel coming at your face, like, it's supposed to be 3D.
Hated it.
Worst part, right? Do you remember that?
I actually haven't seen any Star Wars movies.
No,
This is a Mad Max.
Oh,
the
Mad
steering
Max,
wheel
right.
came at you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Really cheesy.
Yeah, it was like, what was the point? But I mean, I saw their intentions, but it was like,
I also had a little bit of fun with the cheese because, like, to me, that was kind of a bit of a callback to the '80s, and
Yeah, and that is what Mad Max is.
Yeah,
But
it's a
I
little
mean,
playful. But like it takes you out of it. It's not the same as, it doesn't fit the tone as the rest of the movie.
I mean, that was my least favorite part. What was your guys' least favorite parts of the movies? Yeah. What would you say?
My least favorite part.
Yeah. I mean,
That one guy was so ugly. And just the ugly parts were so ugly. And I was like,
The
I don't
ugly
want to
part.
look at this.
Yeah, no, when he rips the child out of her body, that was, I mean,
Yeah,
it was very well done, but it was probably my least favorite part because it was just so hard to watch.
It was very hard to watch. Yeah, I think that would have to be my least favorite as well, just because it was like, it was very graphic, and not only that, just kind of played with your mind, like, ugh, this is supposed to be something that I'm supposed to enjoy. Yet it was kind of like, this kind of messed everything up.
yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that's something about this movie is it's not for everybody. You know, there's like the mayor of Bullet Town, the fat just lardy dude.
Yeah.
He was the most disgusting part.
Yeah,
Just-
he was.
His feet, they were like bear paws almost.
I'll say one
Yeah.
of the parts I enjoyed the most about it was, and this is common in Mad Max movies, but is that Mad Max isn't the main character, and Furiosa was like just badass.
She really was.
The scene where she takes the rifle and puts it on Max's shoulder and says, "Stay still," and then just pops the guy.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
I love it.
it was so great.
Yeah.
My one shame in the movie, though, is you can tell it ran out of budget at one point. Because I don't know if you guys recall this scene. They're trudging along, and Max says he'll go back to handle the people that were following him. And you just hear an explosion off in the distance, and he comes back. And he's like, I want to talk about it. And like, there's blood on him.
Oh, yeah.
And they go, it's not his blood. And you're like, that would have been pretty cool to see. Thanks for not showing
Yeah.
that. You know, they didn't have the budget to make it clear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like a definite part in the movie where it like slows down a little bit, like when they meet up with those old ladies, those super cool old ladies.
Yeah,
and
that
it just like
was-
slows down
yeah,
a little
it's
bit,
kind
but
of
it
like-
picks back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and it picks back up so quickly. And to me, and it's not a big complaint, but I felt like the original chase scene, that like the starting out, oh crap, Furiosa's gone, let's go get her, like that chase scene combined was better than the last one. And I feel like that should have been flip-flopped to me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like it should have been, the last chase scene was even, and like it had the pole vaulter guys, and that was pretty cool, but it felt like everything else was the same as the first part. And that was like, they could have made this, they should have flip-flopped those two chases.
There's also just a little bit less suspense there. I mean, in the first chase, you honestly don't really know what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
But at the end, at the end of the day, you know your hero's probably going to get his way.
Usually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. What did you guys think of the sets, real quickly? You know, the huge mountain with the skull in it. Was that like? Did you guys find the desert land kind of cool, the wasteland?
I did. I think it was like towards the end of the movie. They were like at this cliff desert area. I thought that was really cool. Do you remember that? It was like a cliff area.
Kind of at the cliff hanging.
Yeah, I think just filming in that area was like an amazing place to film, and I just thought that was just very different. And for it being an action movie and them having all these different scenes where they're doing all these crazy things, it's like, oh, it doesn't ever stop. You know, you're going to a cliff and you're about to, do whatever. I thought that was pretty cool. I just like that set right there.
I liked the contrast between like the really green parts and like the desert. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. What you liked it?
Also, with the contrast, I like those big waterfalls and with the
Oh,
cliffs.
yeah.
Contrasted with just how dry the rest of the movie is and how brown it is, and then compared to that blue.
You know, we have to say it because we haven't talked about him yet at all. We'll be doing it justice if we didn't. And I just blanked on his name. I think it's Knox, the Half-Life who joins them.
Nicholas Holt.
Well, that's the actor's
Guy
name.
from
Yeah,
Skins.
The
yeah.
guy from-
I believe his
Yeah.
name in the thing is Knox. I'm not quite sure.
Sounds right.
Wasn't he just like, he was the energy for the first part of the movie.
Yeah.
You just felt him all bubbly and, oh, what a lovely day. You felt him like, oh yeah, I guess it is a lovely day. Go kill him. Do it.
He was in it to win.
And he
right?
keeps calling him meat or blood bag, and you're like, oh,
yeah.
man, Mad Max is literally just giving this guy blood. That's his only purpose in this movie right
The
now.
cars in the movie, like in that first chase,
Oh, yeah.
are like so cool.
Yeah.
I was dying. I was like, I can't believe this is so cool. Love the cars. Love the blood.
It was. Now, one quick off-topic question: for those who've seen The Revenant, who had the worst chap lips, Knox or Hugh Glass? Because I had to say Knox. I mean, that thing looked cut up.
Knox, yeah, Knox was like defeated.
This is pretty gross. Definitely built up with the
I
chrome.
would definitely say. All right. So I just had that one last question. We'll wrap it up now. Give our ratings. And who would you recommend this movie to? We'll start with you.
I'd rate the movie 9 out of 10 just because, like you said, there were some parts where I feel like there was a missing story, but it was still good overall. I would recommend it to anyone who is okay with graphics. You know, it's a good movie, so you're not really missing out. Yeah.
I'd give it a 8.8 out of 10. You know, I'm generally a little harsher, but I mean, for me, that's very good for me. Like, I thought it was the best movie this summer. That's what I will say. And I'd recommend it for anyone who wants to get into Mad Max. I think it's a great starter movie for it, you know, to get into the franchise.
I'm in that 8.5 to 9 range, probably. And I would definitely recommend it to anybody who loves action, is down to, you know, see some mindless action movies. Yeah. But if you're somebody who loves a lot of dialogue or, you know, a lot of very complex acting, it might not be the movie for you.
Yeah.
I'll give it an 8.6, I think, out of 10. And I would recommend it to anybody that doesn't know a lot about it. So maybe not anybody that's watched this review, but yeah. I feel like the less you know going in, the better it is.
Pretty true.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, that has been Everyone's a Critic. I hope you enjoyed.